What's up, everybody? We are live. I got the old school headphones on today, which is always great. Hold on one sec, just pulling up the questions for the day. All right, here we go. So, first one that has come in. This one actually, I also take some during the week too, and kind of organize them. So, first one that came in, okay. How will the new rate hike affect pricing? Well, I mean, every time there's been a rate hike, it does have an impact on pricing. Obviously, we've seen that's the sixth one in a row, so another zero point 0.5. There is reason to maybe be optimistic that it wasn't the full 0.75 or 1%, but I tend to go just at the fact that it was a rate hike regardless. And anytime there's a rate hike, it will typically bring back people's borrowing power, especially if they're going in the variable. Also, too, something to note is that now the prime rate has gone up with that. So the variable and fixed rates are getting closer together, and so there's not as exactly that difference between the fixed and the variable where if you couldn't qualify for a certain amount on the fixed side, you could try to go variable to see if you can qualify for it. So now it's almost like everybody's qualifying in a similar spot, which is in that mid sevens to eights range, and your mortgage broker will definitely be able to give you better numbers than that. But last I heard, it was in that like 7.75 on the fixed side, maybe a bit more now, and the variable now is in the sevens as well. So, yeah, certainly a big difference on borrowing power, and that's going to affect people as they move forward to look at property. Actually, it kind of goes hand in hand with the next question: is what am I seeing for buyers out there right now? There's definitely inventory that's been sitting. I know in Liberty Village here, for example, for the month of October, 10 sales and about 70, 80 properties for sale this month. So that's about like 8 months of inventory just in Liberty Village. So that's a stat, something to think about if you're going out there. And here's a couple things for buyers right now: is that I have seen the scenario on both sides where the buyers only want a deal. They only want to purchase if it's going to be an amazing deal. And those are actually out there right now. I do think, though, if you do want to get a great deal, there's a few things that definitely you have to have in place first. Number one, you got to have your financing in check. So there's a couple keys to trying to get a good deal. And the first, yeah, financing. So you know exactly what you're shopping with and you know your budget. And these days, if you are going variable, maybe don't go to the top of your budget. Have a little bit of a buffer there in case there's another rate hike. And I mean, you should always try to buffer something in there. Number two, know what you're looking for and maybe be a little bit flexible with that and be open to seeing a couple different properties. I love the fact that with buyers, we can go out and shop and look at a few properties, not just look at one property and then that sells and the three other ones sell as well. So you have time to take your time and shop. And then, I'm not shy to put in offers for clients right now, even if they're, let's say we can take a comp from a few months ago and factor in how much, percentage the prices have come down since then and find a fair price. And if the seller is way above that, then, we could try. Like these days, like I don't feel like it's a bad thing to try as long as obviously there's within reason. But still, my job is to try to get the best deal for my clients. So I am not against trying and seeing what sticks and, maybe get a sign back, maybe kind of get an idea where the seller's at. Maybe the seller won't be too happy and say, absolutely not, I'm not selling below a certain amount, but at least right? So I think it's worth a shot these days. But having that kind of like educated offer, let's say, where you can back it up with kind of like you take a comp and then, like I just said, you can factor in like how much price have gone down since that last comp if there are no direct comps and see where that lands. And, also different things to look at that we navigate as we go with buyers or, what the closing dates are looking like, if it's vacant or not. And typically if it is vacant and you have your ducks in a row and you have your deposit ready and your down payment and deposit, obviously both ready, then maybe you can get a quick closing, and a quick closing might get you a better deal. Typically, the quicker the closing, the better the deal. That's typically how it usually works. Love that we can get conditions back in the offer. That's amazing. Finally, we can get those in there, so you can get those financing conditions, status certificate, inspection. You can get that stuff all in the offer if you want it. But I mean, these days it's definitely recommended. Of course, as always, it should always be recommended. It just this market allows that to happen without the 20 other offers that don't have it. So I have seen a couple properties that have gotten a ton of offers. To be honest, they were priced extremely, extremely low. So if you are a buyer out there looking for more of a deal, look at properties that have been on the market for a few weeks. They've been sitting. So there's a lot of them that have been sitting all around the city downtown. Yeah, so for buyers out there, definitely an opportunity. For sellers, I think if you don't need to sell, then don't sell. It's not exactly the best climate at this point, especially if rates continue to go up. It might not be the best time to do that. That being said, I mean, if you've owned it for a long period of time and you have plans to do something else with that money that you've gained over the course of however many years, not a bad idea or I shouldn't say not a bad idea, but just not a bad scenario if you're not going to get your February price, but if it's still a good price for you and it makes sense and you have another plan, you could still generate a pretty good return on your equity over time with that, just as long as it's reasonable. But I guess kind of to my point, it's not exactly the climate of a market where you just throw a crazy number on a property and see if it'll get it, because right now we haven't really seen that. So yeah, that's that for sellers. Last question here. Are there any good options for investors out there? Actually, yeah, there's a few, specifically condos in the downtown core that I really like. And the reason I like them, obviously, rents have been crazy. And actually, with a 20% down payment, they're probably pretty close to cash flowing right now, just based on what the rent could be for those units. A couple come to mind. I know there's one, it's a junior 1 bedroom. I get it, doesn't have a bedroom, but realistically, if it's an investment for you, if the location's great, the setup works. I just leased out a junior 1 bedroom for clients, and we had 35 showings, 5 offers on day one, leased for just under $2,400 a month. So if you can snap something up in the 500 range, you might be pretty close to, at least kind of close to cash flowing at that point, depending on your down payment, of course. But there's a few options out there. I'm going to add them into my Follow Me Friday this week and tour around and see, take you guys through them and see like what you guys think. I'm going to do a junior 1 bedroom and either a 1 bedroom or maybe like a 1+10 or 2 bedroom, something under like 800,000 and something under 600,000. Let's see where that kind of lands. So that's it. That's your live for the week. I've been back and forth with Wednesdays and Thursdays. If there's a date that anyone prefers or doesn't matter to you guys, I'm just going to kind of switch between the two, see which one gets a little more engagement. So enjoy your rest of your Thursday, enjoy your weekend, and have an awesome night. Oh, and happy Halloween. Hope to see some pretty awesome costumes on there. Thanks.